Hey, Eldon. How's things going in Ottawa?
Oh, I'm working on my campaign strategy. Running for Prime Minister is not easy, you know.
Is that why you're reading Winnie the Pooh?
I'm studying Winnipeg, the capital of Manitoba. Did you know that Winnie the Pooh was a Canadian bear? And Winnie is short for Winnipeg?
Really?
And Winnipeg is the dandruff capital of Canada.
What?
And Manitoba is the Slurpee capital of the world.
Wow, Eldon, you've really done your research.
Oh, you better believe it, sister. Which is why you two are in Winnipeg right now.
To get dandruff.
No, smarty pants. To get a clever, savvy, debonair campaign manager. And the perfect one is in Winnipeg.
Ooh, who's that?
Bond. James Bond.
James Bond?
Yes, the 007 himself.
I don't think he's in Winnipeg, Eldon.
Oh, yes, he is. I did all the research, and all you have to do is find him. Okay? Okay. Friend, freeze.
Welcome to CG Kids, where we're going on a cross-Canada adventure to every capital city in the country.
Today we're in Winnipeg, the capital of Manitoba, and the closest major city to the geographic center of North America.
We are going to check out one of the largest urban forests in Canada, the Assiniboine Forest.
Then find out how a huge man-made structure called the Red River Floodway keeps this city from being washed away by the raging Red River.
Speaking of raging rivers, we are going to the wave paddling whitewater kayaking school to get some tips from a 16-year-old kayaking champion.
Flooding and paddling and trailblazing?
And dandruff.
It's all coming up on CG Kids.
Am I the only one who's concerned about this dandruff thing? How's my hair?
Geographic Kids.
Winnipeg, Manitoba is also called the window to the West. From its humble beginnings as a trading post, it became the capital of Manitoba.
The name Winnipeg comes from the Cree word for murky water, and a lot of Winnipeg's past and present is based on water. Winnipeg is located at the forks of the Red and Assiniboine rivers. It has been used for travel and trade for at least 6,000 years.
CGK. CGK.
Europeans arrived in the West to take advantage of the natural resources and trade as early as the 1670s. This resulted in the marriages between the European traders and native women. Their children were neither European nor native, but Métis. And their unique culture was an important part in the development of Manitoba.
This is the Riel House National Historic Site of Canada. Louis Riel was the leader of the Métis people, whom he led in the 1885 Batoche Rebellion against the Canadian government. He was executed later that same year on accounts of treason.
Finally, in 1992, Louis Riel was accorded the status of a founding father of Manitoba and a significant historical figure in Canada.
CGK.
Another significant part of Canada and Manitoba's history is the Hudson's Bay Company. Hard to believe that a department store like the Bay helped form our country? Well, it's true.
The Forks National Historic Site of Canada, located in the heart of the city, is Winnipeg's meeting place. The name refers to its location at the junction of the Red and Assiniboine rivers.
Well, its significance lies in the role of the two rivers in the shaping of the Canadian West, but it doesn't commemorate just one period of history, but 6,000 years of trade, commerce, and settlement. This is called the Udena Celebration Circle. It means center of the city in Cree, and it was built in 1997 for the Pan American Games and to commemorate the Aboriginal people that lived here at the Forks.
How significant was the Hudson's Bay Company in the formation of Manitoba?
The Hudson's Bay Company and the Northwest Company fought for dominance of the fur trade. But after 1821, the Hudson's Bay Company took over both companies and became the center of the fur trade in the Red River settlement.
How did Manitoba become a part of Canada?
Well, in 1869, the Hudson's Bay Company was tired of enforcing their rule of government. It was costing them too much money. So they decided to sell their political rights to the Red River settlement and Rupert's Land over to the government of Canada. Railways were built, and soon people and supplies came to Winnipeg, and it became the bustling pioneer metropolis that it was.
Rupert's Land? What was that?
Well, Rupert was a prince. He was actually the son of King George II, and he was the one who started the whole Hudson's Bay Company.
CGK.
Where are we now?
Well, this is called the Tall Grass Prairie Garden, and this is what it would have looked like a couple hundred years ago when the Métis were hunting bison here.
Ooh, bison. Do they eat these flowers?
Well, I don't know if they ate these flowers, but this is called Big Blue Stem, and this grows up to 6 feet high, and the bison would have hidden this.
CGK.
Please, that was excellent. Thanks for showing us around.
Well, thanks
Yeah,
for coming,
that's awesome.
guys.
See you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Archaeological evidence found at the Forks proved that it was a hub of commerce between Lake Superior region and northern Texas as much as 6,000 years ago.
CGK.
Winnipeg is considered to be a quintessential prairie city, flat and windy. But 200 years ago, it looked like a very different place.
Many of the small rivers and troughs that were once here have been drained for development. It was also covered by a forest of oak, poplar, and basswood.
Now, Winnipeg is home to the largest urban forest in North America.
This is the Assiniboine Forest Park. It's hard to see the forest for all the trees. I wonder how big this place is.
It's 700 acres.
So, Amanda, what's so great about the Assiniboine Forest?
Well, the Assiniboine Forest is one of Canada's largest urban parks. It has an aspen oak forest, 2 wetland areas, and a prairie restoration site that was once a landfill.
So what kind of trees am I looking at?
Well, this is a trembling aspen, and there's also bur oak.
Hey, can we go check out the landfill?
Sure, it's that way.
CGK.
So what is the Drainage and Wetlands Enhancement Project?
Well, right behind you here is 22 acres of land where the trees have been drowned because of standing water and flooding. To solve this problem, we're turning the entire area into a new wetland.
What's the difference between a wetland and just standing water?
Well, a wetland is not a habitable place for mosquitoes to lay their eggs because the water is so deep and there's a lot of wave action. So it creates less breeding area for mosquitoes, plus it creates a habitat for wild animals.
That's a good thing.
CGK.
So what's landfill revegetation?
Well, before the Assiniboine Forest was set aside as a nature park, this whole area here was once a landfill.
Ooh, garbage?
Yeah. It's now been replanted with 13 native species of grasses and wildflowers.
So what kind of plants do you have here then?
Wheatgrass.
What's it good for?
Well, an interesting thing about it is there's twice as much root as there is plant.
So this goes twice down into the earth?
Yep.
Wow, wicked huge! To see a vegetation!
Miles of grass. CGK.
What other projects does the summer program do?
Well, we spend a lot of time maintaining the wood chip trails that run through the forest, also removing garbage and invasive weeds such as Canadian thistle that invade the native plants so that they can't grow.
That sounds like hard work.
It is.
Got big muscles?
Yes.
So Amanda, what kind of animals live around here?
Lots of animals live around here. There's over 30 species of mammals and 200 species of birds. The most exciting to see are the beaver and the deer.
Ooh, one last thing before I go. Do any of you know if James Bond lives around here?
James Bond? Isn't he British?
Never mind. It's time for Triviography. Today's question is...
What is algidity? Here's a hint. It doesn't have anything to do with algae that grows in the water.
Observe as I test the algidity of this pool. Ugh, it's got high algidity. Very, very high algidity. Ow!
And it's not the same as being nimble or having good balance.
Sid, I don't think that's a very good idea.
No, Kat, I'm telling you. I have amazing algidity. I'm gonna break my record of balancing this broom in the air for a whole minute. Oh. Oops, I think I just broke the TV.
So what does algidity mean?
We'll tell you later in the show.
So, how's it going in Winnipeg? Have you found James Bond yet?
No, Eldon. I don't even think James Bond lives here. Everyone we talk to says they don't even know him.
Well, of course they don't. He's a spy. He is an international man of mystery. You're going to have to think like a spy if you want to find him.
Think like spies?
That's the spirit, okay? Now be a sleuthy or something, okay? Yeah. Now get me Mr. Bond.
CGK.
Oh, it sure is windy.
Well, it does say that this intersection here at Portage and Main is the windiest intersection in North America.
That would be good to know if we were flying kites. Now, how are we gonna find ourselves a super spy?
Got it. James Bond. Does anyone here go by the name of James Bond?
Sid!
We're looking for a James...
Sid, you're not being very low-key. Eldon told us to think like spies. Think like spies. You get what I'm thinking?
CGK.
Come in, Turnip Head. Big Kahuna calling. Any sign of James Bond yet?
I'm right beside you. And for the last time, don't call me Turnip Head.
But that is your super spy code name.
Yeah, the one that you made up. And don't talk into your watch. It's creepy and weird.
Okay, I got another idea.
CGK.
This is the last one in the phone book. Hello, I'm looking for Bond. James Bond. Hello? Hello?
That was my last brilliant idea.
Brilliant. Hey, Sid, what river is this?
Well, according to the geopad, it's not a river at all. It's the Red River floodway. Winnipeg stands on a floodplain. Both the Red and Assiniboine rivers flood naturally every spring. The Red River travels north from the United States to Lake Winnipeg. As spring thaws in the south, it fills the river with snowmelt that flows north to Manitoba, where the landscape is still frozen. This results in the rivers spilling over their banks and flooding the valley.
So a carefully engineered ditch called the floodway was built in 1968 to divert a large flow of water around the city.
That's right, good old Duff's Ditch. Would you like to see how it works?
Yeah!
For sure.
The Red River floodway is nicknamed Duff's Ditch after former Manitoba Premier Duff Roblin, one of its most enthusiastic supporters. Critics thought it was too expensive and impractical. However, the floodway has saved Winnipeg from flooding at least 18 times.
So Doug, where are we now?
Sid, we're standing on the inlet control structure. It's a massive concrete structure that's founded on bedrock and can withstand the forces of the water when we have a flood. Contained in this structure are two gates that when we have a flood, we raise these gates, which raises the water level and allows the water to pour into the floodway and go around the city. And when we divert that water around the city, then we save 700,000 people from flooding in the city of Winnipeg.
When was the last time it was used?
In 1997, we had what we call a 100-year flood. That flood has a chance of occurring once every 100 years. And that flood would have caused over $1 billion worth of damage in the city if it wasn't for this structure. We're estimating that if we get a 700-year flood next year, that it would be over $12 billion of damage.
Whoa.
So if that huge flood happened next year, what would happen to Winnipeg?
You would see 2/3 of the city underwater, and about 400,000 people would have to be evacuated.
Would it just affect Winnipeg or on a bigger scale?
Actually, there are also communities north of Winnipeg that would be flooded out.
So when do you start building this bigger one?
We're starting next month.
Oh, good.
CGK.
Whoa!
That's a lot of birds.
Those are the white pelicans, and right now you can see them beside the structure. They're fishing. The fish are moving up along the structure and sometimes stopping to rest, and the pelicans are picking them off for dinner. It's a real buffet for them.
Sushi time.
CGK.
All right, Doug, so where have you taken us to now?
Kat, we're standing beside the Trans-Canada Highway Bridge.
And how many bridges cross over the floodway?
There are 12 bridges that cross the floodway. 6 of those bridges carry trains, and the other 6 carry highway traffic.
Ooh, that's a whole lot of traffic.
So that means if we didn't have the floodway, both Canada's national railways would not be able to get through the city, and the highway traffic from East and Western Canada wouldn't be able to get through the city. So without the floodway, we would affect all of Canada if we had a flood.
Well, Doug, thanks for showing us the Red River floodway. It was excellent.
You're welcome. It was a lot of fun showing you guys around.
When it was completed in 1968, the Red River floodway was the second largest earth-moving project after the Panama Canal.
Over 75 million cubic meters of earth was excavated. That's enough to fill the Winnipeg football stadium to the height of a 20-story building.
Ooh, I just thought of something. What would you do on your time off if you were a super spy?
I don't know.
You do something exciting, something dangerous, something a little scary even.
Ballroom dancing. Well, I don't know. That's kind of scary. I'd have to wear those tight pants.
Ooh, true. Come on. Manitoba is the only province that is both a prairie province and a coastal province, with 645 kilometers of shoreline along the Arctic Ocean. Today we're in Winnipeg, Manitoba on the shore of the Whitemouth River, and we're here with Andy and Mick from Wave Paddling. Hi guys!
Hey guys!
And they're going to show us some of the fun stuff we can do in the Winnipeg water.
That's what you meant by exciting and dangerous whitewater kayaking.
Guys ready to go? Yeah, you ready?
Let's hit the gnarly gnar. So guys, why do you think people often overlook Winnipeg as a whitewater destination?
Well, you see, Winnipeg's on the prairies, and when people think of the prairies, they think of flat. There can't be any good whitewater. Well, look around. We have lots of whitewater within an hour and a half of the city.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Lots of it.
What actually classifies as whitewater?
Yeah, well, you know, it goes from really little to really big, but anytime there's kind of water moving around and it gets kind of swirly and there's some water and, you know, bubbles and it turns white. That's why we call it whitewater. Today we're going to go on to some stuff that's kind of in the middle.
Like that out there?
That out there.
We're gonna go on
Yeah,
it?
we're going to take you out in some fun stuff out there.
Rocket!
Yeah.
There are 6 levels of difficulty in whitewater kayaking. Level 1 is the easiest, just a small current. Level 6 is for only the most advanced kayaker.
Well, we're all suited up, now what?
Okay, well, what we got to do now is get you in your boats. One of the tough parts about getting in a kayak is getting your skirt on. So these big neoprene skirts that go around the cockpit, that's what keeps all the water out. And if you can take a look there, Kat's having some help by Andy, but it's really hard to get that on because it's really tight, right? So yeah, that's the first thing. It looks like she's got a hang of it pretty good.
They're in the water, but why doesn't she have her paddle?
Well, it's funny because we've just taught her how to get in the boat. Now we're going to teach her how to get out of the boat. It's called a wet exit. First of all, she's going to have to get used to the water. It's a little bit chilly out there. So we're going to let her flip herself over. It's a quick dunk, and let's just take a look and see what happens when she does that. All right. So now we know she's feeling pretty comfortable underwater. So what we're going to get her to do now is tap 3 times on the bottom of her boat, and she's going to pull that skirt, and she's going to actually get out of the boat on her own underwater and swim back up to the surface. It's called a wet exit.
If I don't come up, Sid, you can have my stereo, okay?
So she's pulling the skirt off, just kind of a forward roll underwater.
Oh,
Comes up.
wow.
She's safe. Yeah.
Wow, that was
All right.
fast.
Yeah, it was good.
Awesome.
CGK.
Okay, Andy, I got soaked and dumped. What are you gonna do to Sid?
Well, we're gonna make him do a sweep now. Sweep's a directional stroke, so you can turn your kayak on the spot. You're gonna put your blade at the front of your boat,
Yeah.
and in a rainbow motion, and then bring it to the right tail of your kayak, and lift it out, and do it again. You'll spin right in a circle.
Ooh.
There you go. Nice.
It's good. A clean sweep.
Now we're going to do a forward stroke. Forward stroke makes your kayak go forward in a straight line. You want to keep your paddle straight and vertical, and pull it along your kayak, and your kayak's going to go forward just like theirs right now.
Guys, that was fully awesome.
You guys are insane.
I just wondered, have you ever heard that James Bond used to live in Winnipeg?
Sure he did. This is how the story goes.
Hey. It's time to answer today's triviography question.
Today's question is, what is algidity?
Algidity means a feeling of coldness or chill. When Britain was encouraging immigration to Winnipeg, they described the winters as brisk and invigorating, not cold.
What they failed to mention was that Winnipeg lies in an unprotected Arctic trough. It channels cold Arctic air across the Canadian Shield and Canadian prairies, making Winnipeg one of the coldest major cities in the world.
And that makes for a lot of algidity. CG Kids is on the World Wide Web. Visit us and find out even more about our incredible country.
Just click on our website to find games, contests, and way more about our show.
You can even try the CG Kids Atlas online.
Check it out.
Eldon, we have some information for you. Eldon?
So, we meet at last, Mr. Bond. I have been expecting you. Hey, where is Mr. Bond?
That's what I was saying. We have some information for you.
You were right. James Bond is from Winnipeg, kind of.
Well, what does that mean?
Well, what it means is that the fictional character of James Bond was based on the real-life super spy Sir William Stevenson from Winnipeg.
Oh, you're kidding.
He was a spy in World War II, and his code name was Intrepid. But he can't really be your campaign manager because he died in 1989 at the age of 93.
Now what am I going to do? Okay, what about Batman? Is he in town? Oh no. Well, how about Spider-Man? He's pretty sneaky. Then again, he never returns my calls. What do you think, Kitty?